name is Henry Arslayan. My passion, my focus in life is the future of finance and money. I do this as a co-founder of 9Blocks, a $100 million market-neutral crypto hedge fund. Today, we're going to talk about blockchain for good with a lot of the benefits, and we're going to really try to cover in a couple minutes that we have the practical impact that blockchain technology can have, not only on the future of our lives, our careers, but also on each one of us personally as well. I cannot promise you we're going to cover everything in the next literally 14 minutes we have, but I promise you it's going to be insightful, interesting, and exciting. And to this, because we have a dream team panel today with us. Vanessa Goulet that was just introduced. She's the managing partner at Aglaya Ventures. But one thing you don't know about her, a part of our VC investing she does, she's a big polo player, and she used to do horse competitions of jumping. So here we go, a lot of talent here in the VC world. Next to her is Dominic, we just discussed. He's the chairman of the IOTA Foundation. You just saw what he did with ADGM, but the one thing you may not know about him, he grew up in a village of 800 people, a German-speaking village in Italy. Here we go, fun fact, there's a whole history about that. You can learn about it on Wikipedia. And of course, last but not least, Usman Ahmed, someone that I've known for many years, the CEO, co-founder of Zodia Markets, who, by the way, when he's not running the business, he's a qualified cricket coach. There you go. So if anybody looking for some tips, you have it all there. Guys, let's jump right in. Dominic, I want to kick off with you. We just saw the news that came out with IOTA. Today, I want to talk about blockchain for good. Maybe before we talk about the future, can you share with us right now, what has been the good that crypto or blockchain has done, let's say in the last couple of years, and then we can talk about the future.
Yeah, of course. I think the answer to that question really depends on who are you asking, right? Like if you ask us, I would say that all of us come from a sort of like privileged position, right? Like I can confidently say working in blockchain for the last 10 years, it hasn't really touched my everyday life yet, right? Like I'm not really using crypto every day because it's not really adopted everywhere, because we have a good financial system, we have good financial markets, we have access to the right infrastructure. But if you ask people in emerging markets like Vietnam, or if you ask people in more sort of crisis states like the Ukraine or in Argentina, blockchain is part of their everyday life because it's the only way in which they actually have access to a reliable financial infrastructure, right? And so, for example, we have a team of around 20 people in Argentina, and we don't pay them in Argentinian pesos for obvious reasons, right? We pay them in stablecoins. And so we do our monthly payroll in stablecoins. And with that, they can actually pay for their living expenses. They can pay for their rent. And I would say that is really being a huge impact in those markets. Now, obviously, this is not why blockchain was created alone, right? Yep. Blockchain was really there to sort of create a new financial system that is decentralized, that is fully efficient, that can run autonomously, where we go from this paper-based system towards a fully digital one, right? And so I think everything that's happening here in the UAE and specifically in ADGM, I think that will really define the future of blockchain, where we're really going to work on actually tokenizing those assets.
I'll come back, tokenization, obviously in Argentina, where especially with the new president, we'll see what that goes on. Exactly. Dominic mentioned infrastructure, financial infrastructure. I want to move it to you, Usman, on, when you talk about financial, even systems, trading, ecosystems, how is blockchain has provided good in the last couple of years, and what do you think, how can blockchain provide good in this space?
So I think there's two areas really. So financial markets infrastructure has been lacking. Financial markets infrastructure, whilst Dominic's absolutely spot on, there's privileged people in privileged markets that have access to good, fast movement of assets and cash. Actually, there's a huge amount of improvements that can be made. From a trading perspective, if we don't think about every day, can we be more efficient? Can we be more efficient with capital? Can we put capital to use more effectively by eliminating days and days and days of movements of money between participants? That's one angle that we're seeing, and we're seeing that in the financial markets because US equities are going to go to a T+1 settlement cycle in May. And what we're finding is firms out of Asia are looking at that going, this makes my operations much harder. But there's a whole ream of stuff that we can look at in terms of broader financial markets infrastructure. It can be optimized through utilization of immutable, transparent, distributed ledger technology that today is commonly known as blockchain.
Yeah, that's the 9 trillion that Dimitri was talking before from copper. Vanessa, I'm going to move it to you. When it comes to, obviously we talk about financial ecosystems, infrastructure. When it comes to blockchain for good, can you give us, I know you focus a lot on the social good side of blockchain technology, right? Can you share with us what have we seen recently with blockchain when it comes to making good around the world, but also what you think is the landscape for the next couple of years.
Sure. So I'm also the president of the Blockchain for Social Impact Coalition, which focuses on 4 themes. So one is financial inclusion that we've discussed. The second one is sustainable supply chains. The third one is climate. And the fourth one is identity. So those are really the 4 themes where you can think about blockchain for social impact. Just to give you some stats, there's 1 billion people that don't have identity in this world. That means 1 billion people that can't have access to financial system, that can't vote, that can't even vouch for who they are in the world. There's about 100 million displaced people as of today, whether internally displaced or refugees, and 40% of these people are children, meaning that they're going to be growing up either in camps or without a home, or be forced to move because of war, because of internal issues in their countries, etc. So how can blockchain help here? If you have a permanent identity that is recorded on a blockchain that cannot be tampered with, that the government can't tamper with, that a person in a situation of war can't tamper with, that gives a lot of help to these people, and they don't have to depend on governments or third parties to say who they are. So identity, I think, is a big issue, and blockchain can help a lot. Sustainable supply chains, obviously, we all want to know, where this dress came from, how my telephone is manufactured. If you read a book called Red Cobalt, you'll know the situation in which cobalt is extracted.
Yep.
And it's important that everyone is accountable for their supply chains. And we have COP coming up next week.
Yep.
And actually the Blockchain for Social Impact Coalition is focusing even more on climate now, creating carbon markets, carbon offsets, and we're merging the Blockchain for Social Impact Coalition with a crypto accords that is going to focus on the offset of the Ethereum footprint.
So identity and supply chains, I guess, the 2 areas to watch, especially with COP coming up.
Yep.
So I just want to move it to you on what something that, I guess, related. You said, okay, how can people be helped on that perspective? Let's say in the areas of charities, donations, money movements, right? What do you think can we actually have on when it comes to DLT? Is there any practical aspects as well that we can do, a part of traceability?
There's many, but I think 2 concrete examples that I'll touch upon, and I'll shamelessly plug something that we did and have been working on with charitable foundations. Most notably, we're a UK headquartered firm, and we've been working with the Make-A-Wish Foundation in the UK. About 2 weeks ago, we received the first donation via crypto to Make-A-Wish.
Oh, great.
To basically make a wish of a critically ill child come true. That was a donation that was made through blockchain technology, through cryptocurrency. It came through a custody wallet that was fully vetted, all of the KYC requirements that were complete, because the Charitable Commission in the UK obviously has all of the same requirements and more than many financial institutions. And that was converted into fiat and then dispersed to the needy. The other big impact that we are continuing to work on, it was an initiative that we started about 7 or 8 months ago. I'll also highlight it was a fully female-led initiative. I did not lead it. They very kindly asked me to speak to support, but the team that ran that was fully female and did it across 4 institutions that help support it. Zodi Markets, our custody business, Make-A-Wish, and Parity Technologies, who facilitated the tech. The next stage of that for us talks about a little bit of what both Dominic and Vanessa touched upon, which is actually the disbursement side. How do you get money where it needs to be? Faster, cheaper, better. I think I'm stealing Dimitri's line from earlier. And actually, it's super important to look at correspondent banking challenges, right? There's a lot of money that's wasted and lost. And how do you then trace that? Actually, if we can get disbursements either maybe through stable coins, as you touched upon, into markets that need it, and we've got some great examples of UNHCR doing that for Ukrainian refugees, but actually more broadly, if you can utilize blockchain to trace my donation, I made my donation here, and actually I know where it's gone because I've got it on an immutable ledger. I can see that it's actually made it to the person or the people or the foundation in the jurisdiction that really needs it. That transparency, I think, drives a lot more social awareness and a lot more understanding of, actually, I want to donate such that my money's getting to the people that really need it, not going into overheads to pay banks for moving money around the world or management or whatever it might be. There's obviously part of that in charities, but I feel like that's a huge area and a huge area of opportunity and growth for good, utilizing blockchain
It also
technology.
creates accountability from that perspective as well. But just on that point, Dom, and I'll move it to you. Obviously, what you're saying is great, Usman, but it's great that I can donate in crypto and I know exactly where it's going, but for that, a lot of places where you donate, the real life activity in a village is not had, there's no crypto, there's probably no internet, right? How do actually, Dom, I'll move it to you, like, how do you connect then the crypto world and the Web3 and all cool stuff that we're doing with a day-to-day offline world and try to bring them together so we can have that traceability that Usman was mentioning?
Yeah, no, of course. And I think I really wanted to highlight one point where why AI is succeeding where blockchain has sort of failed, right? Because if you look at AI, it's like an amazing technology where you can reap the benefits, where you can really be productive just in your own sort of ecosystem, right? A single company can use AI today, can use ChatGPT and use generative AI to really be productive, right? Increase productivity, decrease costs. Now, with blockchain, the most difficult aspect of it is actually the ecosystem, right? You cannot use a blockchain just for one company because nobody's actually going to use it, right? You're not going to reduce your costs through that. You're actually going to reduce your costs or generate new revenues by actually convincing your suppliers, convincing all of those ecosystem participants around you to actually use the same technology, right? Through that, it becomes incredibly efficient. You know, we always used to joke, the world would be so amazing if everything would run on a blockchain. But how do you get everything to run on a blockchain? And that's the really challenging part because with blockchain, we've had so much uncertainty, right? Where the crypto markets have obviously introduced a lot of excitement, but also a lot of fear, where there was a lot of doubts whether this technology actually has any real life benefits, right? And then you have the whole question around taxation of these digital assets, around the regulatory side of these assets, how they should be treated, and then everything about how do you actually integrate those new systems into the old system, right? And so I think this is really where it is very important that we come together with the regulators, which is actually happening here in ADGM, right? Who are really supportive of these new technologies to really remove this uncertainty so that the traditional players become more confident and so that we can then start building up these ecosystems. Because only if we have these ecosystems can we actually integrate it into the real world.
And just, Vanessa, in 30 seconds, like, do you think we'll see identity? Like, do you think we will really see identity being connected? Like, everything we discuss on supply chain identity will become a reality in the next couple of years when it comes to social good?
I think it's going to take time.
Yeah, so again, what Dominic's saying is great, but like there's a time element to this as well, right?
Yes,
like,
I think especially on the identity side, as it touches on the sovereignty of states, there are systems where you can create, you know, your social construct with the identity, but it's not the same as having a state-given identity. So we need to bring the states on board.
I mean, frankly, the fact that I still go to many countries and my passport, somebody has to stamp it, they'll look at me and make sure it's me. I mean, we still have a long way to go. Or having lawyers a certified true copy of documents, I think we have a long way to go still. But
well, you could combine blockchain and biometrics, and that may be the future.
With AI, maybe that's the solution. Here we go. As long as the guys at the airport are happy to be replaced by AI, but that's a whole different conversation. Guys, my bell is with me. We have a minute left. I'm gonna ask you quick questions. I want 1 or 2 word answers, and the bell is here to police you guys. Okay. You ready? Usman, I'm starting from you. What is the one thing that is impressing you the most about UAE and Abu Dhabi?
Regulatory clarity, framework, and transparency.
Wow, man, this should be the ad. You should be on the marketing ad at Dom.
Friendliness of the people, openness, and willingness to move things forward.
Love it. Vanessa?
Openness and really the understanding of how the world works.
Not a lot of regulators will have this feedback, I can tell you that. Vanessa, I'm starting with you this time. What is exciting the most about the future of crypto?
International platforms where people can trade around the world.
Connecting the real world with the digital one.
Exactly. Here we go. Usman.
24/7, 365.
Man, you're the tagline guy. That's incredible. Usman, and for you, tomorrow I tell you you can hold one cryptocurrency for the next 20 years and not sell. What cryptocurrency do you buy?
Ethereum.
Ethereum. Ooh, we can have a whole panel on that. Dom.
Very easy, IOTA.
I was expecting that. Vanessa.
Ethereum.
Interesting. What Ethereum fans here? This one is a funny one. I'm starting from you. Sam Bankman-Fried gives you a call and asks you for one piece of advice. What do you tell him?
You should have asked for forgiveness.
Dom, SBF calls you.
Stay true to yourself.
Well, he has a lot of time to do that now. Usman,
Don't steal.
don't steal. Here we go. Your nephew comes to you and says he wants to get into crypto and he's wondering between these 4 jobs. I'm starting from you. Which one do you recommend he joins to learn about crypto? Startup, a TradFi bank getting into crypto, a consulting firm, or the regulator?
Startup.
Why is that?
You're going to learn more in less time.
Dom,
Startup, obviously.
Startup.
come on, this is incredible, really. If you're not in crypto, what industry would you be in, Vanessa?
Financial services.
Financial services, Dom.
Sustainability, financing.
Financial services.
Financial. And last question to finish off our blockchain for a good panel. A classic, whoever goes on stage with me. I'm gonna start from you, Osman. If you could have lunch or dinner with one person, dead or alive, lunch or dinner with one person, dead or alive, who do you have lunch with?
Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali. Beautiful. Dom.
Charlie Munger, who sadly died.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah.
Charlie Munger and Vanessa to close off our panel, blockchain for good at the Abu Dhabi FinTech Week.
Maybe the friend of Charlie Munger.
Here we go.
Warren Buffett.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. That was a panel. That's all the time we have, unfortunately.